Chennai.
Confederation of Indian Textile Industry, or CITI, recently organized the Global Textiles Conclave 2018 at Vigyan Bhawan, New Delhi, as part of its Diamond Jubilee celebrations. The conclave was inaugurated by Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu, as the event also welcomed Textiles Minister Smriti Zubin. Speaking at the session, Mr. Naidu said that disruptions lead to innovations and transformations, which should be the focus area for textiles and the apparel sector.
Today is a very, very special day for the Confederation of Indian Textile Industries, that is CITI. We are celebrating 60 years of service to the industry and the country. CITI, throughout its diamond journey, has been serving various sub-segments, right from fiber to garments and made-ups, including textile machinery, through its various association members, associates, affiliates, corporate members, and invitees. It provides a platform like this to provide information, discussions between various stakeholders at various levels, starting from an international level and going right up to the grassroots level in the form of Kisan Melas.
The need of the hour is to modernize the textile industry, which is the second largest employer after agriculture. According to projections, the Indian textile and clothing industry has the potential to grow at a CAGR of 14% and reach US $300 billion by 2025 from US $150 billion achieved in the year 17. These export textiles and apparels are expected to reach US $82 billion by 2021. Taking advantage of the Digital India program, the Indian fashion retailers online market is poised to grow to US $30 billion by 2020 from the current level of around US $7 to $9 billion. With huge investments being made under Technology Upgradation Fund scheme and policy support from both the government and various state governments, the industry no doubt is poised for growth. The exporters are expected to receive a boost in the wake of free trade with ASEAN and the proposed agreement with China. The textile industry needs to fully tap the potential of the IoT cloud, artificial intelligence, and big data analytics. It is high time for the industry to establish Textile Industry 4.0, learning factory in all major clusters, adopting hub and spokes model with hub focusing on advanced training and spokes focus on basic training.
Textiles Minister Smriti Zubin delivered the keynote address, where she talked about initiatives such as Silk Samagra and Samarth, introduced by the government to support the Indian textile value chain.
And I would like to here claim to the industry that the government is committed, be it the handmade cloth, through the Silk Samagra government's concept of dedicating over 2,000 crores to the development of the silk industry, or be it the Samarth scheme, where capacity building has been allocated a fund of 1,300 crores, to the package for garments and made-ups, where the ROSL has seen a 6,000 crore boom for the industry. The government continues to be committed to the growth of the Indian textile industry. CITI has, amongst its members, celebrated the fact that during September 2018, one saw a 21% increase in production in the textile and apparel sector. CITI, through its chairperson and its body, has today recognized and told the entire world that the Indian textile and apparel industry has registered a growth of around 24% during October 2018, and apparel exports have shown a significant growth with regards to the same time period of 36%. Today, the Ministry of Textiles has identified 12 emerging markets for growth in the future and diversification, and I am assured by the chairperson that CITI will be a partner in these 12 emerging markets for the entire sector to benefit domestically and internationally. It is fascinating that CITI is one of the only organizations possibly in the entire country which celebrates Kisan Mela, which helps aid the growth of our farmers, but at the same time gives an opportunity and a platform to the young entrepreneurs in the industry to innovate and come forward. I congratulate this endeavor of CITI, where you balance the farm to fashion to foreign concept, as has been enunciated many a times by the Honorable Prime Minister. We, a nation of many capacities today, look forward to CITI's participation of training middle management, not only amongst women, but also those from the weaker segments of our society, so that these, our citizens today, can help the industry in not only growing, but also help our smaller segments to understand that their aspirations can find a voice through the Federation.
The Vice President conferred the Lifetime Achievement Award to Suresh Kotak, Chairman Kotak and Company, and also presented Pioneering Awards to Shekhar Agarwal, Vice Chairman RSWM, B. Natraj, Managing Director KPR Mills, Neeraj Jain, Joint Managing Director Vardhaman Textiles, and Sanjay Jayawardhanavelu, Chairman and Managing Director LMW.
On behalf of CITI and textile industry, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to our chief guest, the Honorable Vice President of India, Shri Venkaiah Naidu ji, for kindly inaugurating CITI's Diamond Jubilee celebrations and the Global Textile Conclave 2018. We are indeed grateful to you, sir. Let me conclude this inaugural session by sincerely thanking the CITI Secretariat. Best wishes for the success of the event. Thank you all once again for your kind support and participation. Thank you.
Achievements they have recognized, and I am glad, I am thankful. Award is a reward from the society, no doubt. But we have to keep up. Sometimes what happens that after getting the award, people feel that they have achieved everything in the world. No, you are starting to improve.
The winner for the first of its kind InnoTex 2018 is Mr. Sriram Pothiraj for his 32% reduction in energy consumption in running air-jet looms.
In his address on Day 2, Minister of Commerce and Industry and Civil Aviation, Suresh Prabhu, advised industry to conduct brainstorming sessions on current challenges and opportunities and prepare a roadmap for the future of the Indian textile sector.
Very soon, we'll be announcing the new industrial policy. This will be only the third time India would be announcing it. First was in 1956, second was in 1992, and this is the third time. And a lot of work is going into it. And in fact, it was ready for some time, but I am delaying it because before we actually go to the cabinet, even action plan of implementing the policy is being worked out. So it is not policy, but in a way we'll unveil the action point as to how we are going to implement it. And in that, one of the key components, there are many components, but concerning to you, is we are talking about modernizing the existing businesses. How do you make sure that industry like this, textile, how it can be modernized to face new challenges, at the same time embrace the new opportunities? And therefore, I am sure this is something which will be a right time. If your study is ready, will help you as the Minister of Industries. As Minister of Commerce, I will tell you, we'll do everything possible to promote export of textiles from India.
Intensive crop where the world is completely short of cotton.
The theme for the first Leaders Speak was the future of Indian textiles and apparel industry, which witnessed an interaction with industry captains.
I'll start the dialogue with Suresh Bhai. What do you see the prospects of cotton fiber as such, and what can we do with regard to total cotton economy?
It's not difficult. India can easily produce 5 crore bales of cotton, and polyester will only be, of course it will be there, but its progress has a limitation due to environmental factors which are emerging, and that is why the cotton is to stay and cotton will always stay.
Textiles is a core industry, but at the same time, the world is changing and we need to change. Countries like USA, Canada are looking at India very seriously and they are coming here wanting to source from this country. So we have tremendous opportunities. We can grow tremendously.
One is, Rakesh ji, if you can throw your light, Banswara being in the synthetic industry, a very leading textile company, fully integrated. How do you see the growth of man-made spun fiber textile industry in India going forward?
I think in the last 20 years, ever since the disbanding of the quota regime, I have been hearing at every forum, loud and clear, that China is vacating place and India is going to overtake that, or India is going to take a portion of that. Then came the theory of labor costs in China vis-a-vis labor costs in India. In fact, that too we could not capitalize on. So now the only way for us to get out of this situation, the demand-supply mismatch, can either be met by increase in exports or by increase in domestic consumption. Today also, in the man-made fiber textiles export, you will find 42% of fiber and yarn is being exported, whereas if you look at China, it is less than 7 or 8%. Now this is where we need to, all stakeholders need to sit together and see how we can increase this share.
Now I turn to my friend Rahul. How do you see the growth of the Indian brands going forward? B, how do you see Indian brands going overseas?
With urbanization, the aspirations of the Indian population is going up. With that, people want to now show off that they are wearing a particular brand. That is driving the entire shift from the so-called unorganized segment into the organized segment. Of course, the entry of international brands into India has helped this process. Going on to the next question about can Indian brands succeed internationally? Unfortunately, my answer is a little pessimistic. Other than your ethnic products and a bit of sales to your Indian diaspora, I personally am not very hopeful and confident of creating Indian brands which are successful internationally, primarily because brand building is a very, very expensive and a long-term project.
Neeraj, what do you think that the companies need to do differently to improve profitability?
Our belief in Vardhaman is that the innovation of a new product, innovation of a new fiber will happen once in a while, maybe 10 years, 20 years and so on. But what is more important in this industry, our belief is the improvements which are happening on a day in, day out basis. We have been expanding our business, but after every expansion, we undertake at least 2 to 3 years of consolidation phase. Because the belief is every new project or every new, even in the same industry, every new project, every new site will have its own issues. So we require to adopt the technology, to exploit it fully. Also at the same time, to use it without having a much pressure on the selling. Third, the financials become far better once you are consolidating for 2, 3, 4 years. So your capacity to further undertake the expansion becomes much, much bigger. And fourth, the existing capacities also require same amount of attention to be competitive.
It was amazing to hear from Neeraj. I sum up this session. Thank you very much.
We have people, speakers and delegates from more than 10 countries. We are signing MOUs with 2 of the countries, Bangladesh and Uzbekistan. And the main moot idea is to tell and discuss and deliberate through a galaxy of speakers on what next for the industry.
We're ready to commence with the proceedings of our next session, which is also a panel discussion session. And the topic is disrupting current paradigms and reimagining textile supply chains to make them future ready.
The first question to Bangladesh, which has shown fantastic growth, if you can give us some insights, where do you see Bangladesh in the future? Where will it grow? What is the strategy?
We need more investment in backward linkage industry to improve lead time. That is for Bangladesh. Factories with higher value-added capacity and flexible quantity will get more preference. Technology and digitalization, especially robotics, data analyst, and artificial intelligence will change the competitiveness scenario in near future.
How do you see it? Because your customers are the brands. They source with you, through you. Do you see all these changes and disruptions coming in, and how will this impact the garmenters?
We have legend heads and brand heads as our members who are managing 30, 40, $50 million of business, maybe 300 million from only one or two companies, wherein the same legend head or their counterpart in China or any country, they're looking at $1 billion of sales from one factory. We are nowhere there actually. So disruptions will have to be here. Well, if we don't disrupt our ways, definitely our industry will get into a destruction mode.
Simply put, on our planet today, Africa is the last frontier for apparel sourcing. And it is the last frontier for two reasons. The rising production costs, the fact that global buyers and retailers are demanding more sourcing. The second reason is duty-free market access. Apart from that, looking at it in an Indian lens, all the least developed countries in Africa, and that is we are talking of 48 out of 54, have duty-free trade preference access vis-a-vis India. Apart from that, there are many other advantages, but I would say go east, young man, before somebody else takes it over.
Please join me in giving them a warm applause. Thank you very much.
The next session is on improving profitability of India's textiles and apparel industry. And may I now welcome on the stage our distinguished chairperson and moderator for this session, Mr. D.L. Sharma, Vice Chairman, CITI.
I first request Navdeep just to throw lights on how the industry is faring in other countries like China or Bangladesh or Pakistan. We know that may be much better in some places, but you will have the first-hand experience of interacting with those industries and what lessons we can take from them.
In terms of global competitiveness, the first issue is, of course, a clear vision and a strategic intent. The second point is the enabling environment. The third factor is the establishment of a complete, what we call as the textile ecosystem. The fourth factor is the integration of the country with the global supply chain. This is most important. And the fifth is the size of the overall size.
Mr. Kandelia, India is still a dominantly cotton textile industry. We are still around 60-40, 40, 60 the cotton and 40 the non-cotton, primarily man-made. Globally, it is going in the reverse directions. So should the direction which we have taken as a country, should we stay as it is or should we continue to focus more on the natural textile value chain progress, or instead we diversify to synthetics?
I think that India has to diversify towards synthetic and should be in line with the world balance, and accordingly synthetic should grow to 60% at least 55-60%, and cotton will continue to grow, but there are limitations.
I would just like to sum up by saying that the developing competitiveness is equally important from internal to the organization point of view, as is to create an enabling condition by the state. And we hope that the government is also sensitive to those issues in terms of the policy framework, and the enterprises are working forward to see that, with the new trade arrangements in view of the changing WTO situations and the right ecosystem which is likely to be created and the focus of the government on this development of this industry. And thank you for your patient hearing. Thank you very much.
And ladies and gentlemen, with that we close the proceedings of this conclave. Namaskar.
Focus, ideate, innovate, enable.